Why?
I'm gonna sign for a bet. No.
Oh yeah, the recording worked this time, so I don't have to download it after. Woohoo! I just see a little blurred fist, like.
He has an almighty pig.
Oh, who was listening to it? You could hear the music. Tell me if it's a good level. Nixie, are you here? X?
It's quietly unobtrusive at the moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, ambient background.
Yeah, that's what we like.
Yeah.
So yeah, with my downtime, governor, I basically just because we leveled up, and I don't think I've grabbed the level 6 rune and put it on my guys. So I just carve for the day into my little guys.
Yeah.
That's what I do. I'm sorry in advance for all the sniffing.
That's okay. Okay. Right. This one. Right time. Right seat this time. Okay. Instead of wildly scrambling for it later.
I see your find familiar worked.
It did. It's the closest. A toddler's the closest thing you can have to a Pokemon, really.
Wait, you mean you throw balls at your kid?
Often. He
Just seem to
sometimes almost catches.
Oh, you're home!
Only some of them hit him in the face. It's part of being a kid. Hi, Kasqorn. How are you?
Okay. Let me...
Were you doing anything, Vander? While we were downtiming? Oh, you are alive. I thought that it froze for a second because you were so still and stoic. You did yard work? Fair. Quentin went to mow the lawns. Not that he should be because he's ill. And then the lawnmower was running, but the blade don't spin. All of the things. Yeah, Robert, are you doing anything with the downtime?
Just pacing.
Oh. You're just like...
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
He'll be pacing
Just-
back and forward and changing between his two forms.
You know what's fun is we've completely dropped the narrative of your cursed knife. Like, we've just let you
We
have
really
it.
haven't.
Well,
We really haven't.
we haven't. But
You guys have. You have.
I just want to point out, for some reason, we've all gone, there's much more pressing matters, but this man has a cursed knife.
You don't need to worry about it. He doesn't use it.
What
Yeah.
you got there?
I think
A
that's why we're
knife.
not worrying about it, is because you're
No.
not actively using it. Oh, little do they know Kasqorn what's in store for them.
Pulls out cursed knife.
Yeah, give them a cursed weaponry. All of them. Every single one of them gets a cursed something.
Oh no.
I mean, all else fails. You can just hand it off to a baby. What are they going to do with it?
Origin story.
Oh wait, are you Sicket or Heady right now?
I think I'm going to be
Oh,
heady because I'm going to be playing with this new like spelly thing and censure thing.
Fixed.
I think I'm mostly set up there.
And Seket's feeling a bit nicer about Hetty after fighting beside her and seeing she's actually a real person.
That's fair.
Always helpful, yeah. All right. Well, there's nothing else anybody wants to potentially do for the day that you've got and set up, you know, purchasable things. Maybe we should get going.
Hmm.
Yeah, you're all happy with what you've done?
Honestly, I think all of our characters are just enjoying not rushing off to something. We're just like, oh, we get to sit for a day.
Yep.
Ah,
Even though it's kind of tense at the same time because we're like, oh, we really have to leave. But like, we're just like, well, guess we sit still.
Oh, right. Oh, well. In that case, should we get cracking?
Yes.
Hello, everybody. Who wants to do a recap?
I did last time. I'm pretty sure I did last time, did I not?
I believe so.
I'm fighting the sniffs.
It's alright, you got a sniff, you do the sniff. No? Nobody wants to do the recap? Clearly nobody wants to play D&D today.
Come on, someone.
I'll give it a go. I wrote some notes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Walk us.
I wrote.
walk us
We
through it.
did a lot of talking. That's about it. No, it was a very info heavy session.
There was a lot of exposition and a lot of stuff from lore that's happened in the past.
Hmm?
You guys got to meet somebody who seems to be like
Tavis.
they're from the past. They
Yeah.
talked about Nexi.
Tavis
Yep,
Sorrel.
Tavis Scorel. Yep.
Who had?
about
si-
Angel Forge.
There was 7 of them that gave up themselves to be made into Nick's eyes, to then basically stop
Stop the Scourge War.
the
Effectively.
Scourge War.
Yeah, there was the 7 friends, and we assume
We assume
that they are the 7 lords
of the lake.
of the 7 lords lake.
That's what we assume, and then whatever they did caused a big old fucking lake.
A note for second Hetty's character is that apparently her patron Goldilocks knows something about Tavis and does
Knew her
not wanna-
personally
and does not want to say anything.
and was a weasel about it, quite literally.
Sip, sip, got a dip.
But the keepers were also called the Walkers before that.
That's true. They are the one that created the eyes to end the war.
Yeah, it was Kagetore specifically.
Kagetora was the walker that was supposed to be responsible for the safekeeping of Tavis's Nexi.
Another one of the sealed people was called Tarani. And they, Tavis is from a place called the Angel Forge, which we have never heard of before. This place does not exist on our known map.
It's like she's never heard of Kasqorn.
Yeah.
And she feels like she's been in there a lot longer than time seems to have told.
But time's a bit fucked up when you're in a locked away in a pocket dimension, so you know.
And then the ceremony to seal themselves away was on the border of Vasia and a place that they called Kasqorn or something to that effect. So it sounds
Kasqorn.
yeah. So it was like it was Kasqorn, but just different, like.
But it wasn't a big city at
pronunciation.
that time. It was a
It was
small
just a
little
border
outpost.
place.
Yeah.
And that was talking to Tavis in the dream after we fought our own nightmares. And then well, I'm just taking over now, Robert.
I was gonna say, like, I just do a bad job at doing a recap,
think-
and Becca just takes over. This is great.
We
Ugh.
I
also
get to say next time
got
that I did it.
Cat's backstory
Yeah,
by
we
not
got
having the cat's backstory because he's avoiding it like heck.
We got some
It's
slick
true.
backstory. That's actually a story.
Yeah.
But is it?
We did.
Is
And
it
that was
just a story?
after Surawatha woke up.
Oh yeah, it's been 3 days, by the way.
Yeah. We
Yes.
lost 3 days in Dreamland. We were
Yes.
so hungry, and the city is now in fucking lockdown.
Oh, we got
And they're
some
looking for
delicious
us.
stew.
And they're looking for us, and we assume it's Douglas, although we saw him die, but it was a very strange death where he was like, "I'll see you again," and we were like, "What the fuck does that mean?"
Yes, again.
Vian actually did come looking for us and has gone north, and we are to go to Vian. They've gone to the fort, which was mentioned a few sessions ago as a place of interest that we could go to before the city went in lockdown. And Goldilocks was super fucking weird about the whole Tavis in the dream thing. I wouldn't answer any questions about it, really. Not that my character heard that.
That's Lord McGee.
Frey also got visited by the Keeper of Winter during the long rest. But
West?
I didn't take any
Long
notes about that
rest.
other than it happened because I also, my character, I didn't know. It's now the 26th of Windeth.
Yep.
And we have decided to go to the fort and to utilize Ilias's plan of wearing vestments of the Keeper of Summer to get past the guards, taking Surawatha with us.
27th of Wendeth. I was about to say that's not quite right.
27th?
Yep.
I said 26 in my notes. Fuck.
So, is okay. Which means it is just under a month until the start of summer.
There was a plan B, by the way.
Is that
There's
important?
a plan B.
Yeah.
The start of summer has been mentioned for a couple of things in the past, but yeah.
That's when the tribes meet, isn't it?
Is it?
I believe it was. That was this. Am I remembering wrong?
Oh god, that's a. I have to dig through my notes.
That's right. There are a couple of things that happen at the turn of spring into summer. So
Another festival.
there's a couple of there is actually a festival up in the Summer Realms, which was one of them that was mentioned. So, but yes, you did that. You came up with a plan. It was specifically the Summer Realms that's been kind of locked. So the Summer District that's been locked down, not the entirety of Kasqorn. It seems as though whatever's going on, the guild wars, if you will, have sort of kicked off, but at the moment it's the Summer District that's bearing the brunt of that, because this is where things
Where some buildings
We've
were lit on
initiated.
fire.
things kind of kicked off. But yes, you come up with a couple of plans about how to get out of the city. One involving an escape by water, and the other one mentioned by Passion Ilios, just about perhaps getting you some priestly vestments and having you leave the city like you are pilgrims from the Temple of the Sun, heading north to where the Keeper of Summer is at its peak. And he went off to go and start making arrangements. You guys were offered the ability to get some shopping by proxy done. Some of which you have availed yourself of, and others have not. But if there is anything else that you guys wanted to do, you have most of the rest of this day, and possibly some of the next. Who knows? So, with that, in this little bit of downtime that you have, maybe up to your own volition, locked away, is there anything you guys want to do, or are you happy just to skip through to whatever comes next?
I'm gonna practice my new spell. See what I get.
Okay, so after the materials are brought to you, you are going to attempt to cast that. So that will be later on that same day. Sure. So that'll be your first cost of casting this, which will be your 10 gold of materials. And you're just going to do that here in the house. You're going to start lighting that flame and incense and just have at it.
I'm gonna ask Passion Ilios if it's
He's not
okay. Okay, then yes.
He left to go to the temple to try and make arrangements for you guys. And unless you want to wait for him to return, he's not here. The materials that you seek from your shopping by proxy will be here before he is returned. Up to you.
And there's no one else here?
There's just the man who's grudgingly going out to buy the materials, but he's not in the house per se.
I'm actually gonna wait for him to come back.
Okay.
And actually ask.
All right. Oh, we will do that then when he returns. Does anybody else want to do anything in the meantime?
Go through all of Passion Elise's literature.
I thought you were gonna say stuff. See what you can get.
I mean,
Gonna
No,
break all
I'm
that.
specifically looking through his books and trying to see if there is anything. I'm mostly interested with my runes. That's like top of her brain right now.
okay. I'm gonna get you to do an investigation check.
I am okay at those.
Okay. Because he's got a lot of texts and a lot of scriptures and bits and pieces, some of which are about, faith and the different religions, and then he's got, different ones about some of the different cultures and societies, because clearly he's trying to get to know more living in a city like this, which is kind of a melting pot. He does seem to have his own sorts of interests. You do see a lot of those books haven't been touched in a while, things like gardening. What did you roll?
9.
9? Some of these books have been read quite often, and other ones, like the gardening ones, haven't been touched in a while, almost like he hasn't had time to do it. And it does look as though at some point he was maybe studying another language. But with a 9, you don't really find much of anything pertaining to runes or anything of that sort of nature, unfortunately.
I pull out the gardening book and the language book, and I go find Frey. And I sit down, and I'm like, hey, Frey, this gardening book, it's for a healing business. This could be kind of interesting, huh? Well, maybe we have a little peruse of this while we've got some time.
Sure, I wasn't doing anything at all. I was just zoned out.
Yeah, but no, I think let's get you out of your head a little bit and onto a project. I think that's always healthy for people, when life is getting tough to throw yourself into projects. So let's start.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, sure.
We start on the plant book first, but I kind of hold on to the language book. I might peruse it later.
Cool. Because about the only thing you'll find in the gardening book that seems to be of any use, as you start reading it and you realize is that this is more of a book about flower arranging than what it is about gardening, is on the inside.
Important places of faith, huh?
on the inside title, there is in a very sort of rough sort of handwriting, quite old, a wee note pinned to Passion Ilias, or just to Ilias, about, now that he chooses to live in a place of, society and metal and stone instead of nature, perhaps he needs to learn how to keep the nature nearby. And it's pinned from Uncle Mel.
I ship them.
Hard. Can I have seen her looking through the books and cast my eye over for anything soul ghoulish while I wait for him to come?
In the books, or in general? In the books.
Yeah, just like soul
Make-
ghoulish or about the battle of
Okay.
Uh,
Bake, you can also make an investigation check.
I wonder what.
she's trying to keep her
language-
mind off doing this spell because she's usually just impulsive and does everything anyway, and she's trying
Yeah.
to be considerate, but it's the only thing on her brain. 15 plus 6 because I'm heady at the moment and she got
Jesus.
investigation.
Yeah, all right. 21. Hell.
Bless you.
Bless you.
So, the closest thing you can find to anything pertaining to soul ghouls is again another old book that doesn't look like it's been touched for a while. He seems to have a tiny little collection of them down the bottom of one of his little bookcases, and this looks more like a children's book. And seems to have some of the, the monster tales about, things that go bump in the night and the boogeyman, and amongst the myriad tales of various different monsters and creatures. One of the ones to be wary of and, very careful because you never know when they're in your midst is the soul ghouls. There's nothing specific that he has history-wise or society-wise, because the soul ghouls don't really have a known society, or at least one that would be written about. This is the closest thing that you are able to find about soul ghouls in his collection.
She's going to imprint everything that in this childish monster book. She's going to take it as lore.
It goes on then about them eating naughty children, and taking over their lives, and dooming the family that goes with them. And of course, the only way to prevent that is to not talk to strangers and don't accept candy from strangers, or the soul ghoul will get you and ruin your family.
I
You know,
wonder if
it's-
this is why I like meat.
Yeah, it's basic fairy tale bullshit, but it's with a soul ghoul spin. Yeah. Is there anything else?
She's going to have a like mild panic that she's like the Azura that like took
Oh, yeah.
over children's lives. But other than that, she's
yeah.
gonna pace with Vander.
Gotcha. Frey or Vander, anything you guys want to do in the meantime? Or just Vander doing the pacing?
Just pacing.
Frey?
Doesn't like just sitting here.
No, fair.
She's just gonna be reading. Probably try it if she can see the book that Norfred has. Probably trying to look through it because she's curious.
It really just goes into detail about arranging
Oh,
flowers.
the language book.
Oh, the
Yeah,
language one.
once we get bored of the plant
Ah.
one, we change the text.
I see. Okay.
Wow, who knew so much about irises? We pull out the names.
What languages do you speak?
Is Sylvan Primordial.
Okay. And Nofrit?
Druidic, Elvish, and hand talk.
It's hard to speak hand talk in my experience, but well, initially upon opening it, you don't recognize this language or understand it. and it's not until you leaf a couple of pages in that you start to see little annotations in what you think is Ilios's hand. And he starts making comparisons between that and the common language. This appears to be a book about Drakan language.
Ah!
Oh.
So this would look similar to the book on Drakan fighting technique that I found.
Yes.
In their fortress.
Yes. But yeah, so that's it. The day passes then, relatively uneventful. You do note, having spent some time in the city of Kasqorn, that the streets outside are uncharacteristically subdued. It is quite a bit quieter here. You are in a slightly more residential area. You would expect a little bit of hustle and bustle and clatter and clamour, but no such noises seem to emanate from around you. And it isn't until quite a bit later in the day, the sun itself is setting before Ilios himself returns to his abode, looking a little bit tired. Hard to say whether he's, relaxed, relieved, or anything. He just looks a little tired and worn. But then again, you guys have been in his house for 3 days now, so it's hard to say.
Yeah, we pooped and peed all over his floor and everything for 3 days while we were sleeping.
It's just like having kids again. Right. But yes, he does return.
What does happen when you fall asleep in a dream for 3 days?
Good question, isn't it? So,
Is it really? He's so right, Insanity. Is it
Uh,
his house? This might be our house now.
I mean, he's still got it and he had kids, so, you guys will move on and he'll probably still be here. Hello, Insanity. Yeah, so Ilios has returned. He doesn't appear to have brought anything with him, despite saying that he was going to try and arrange some things for you. But he does come home and just sort of see the couple of people pacing back and forth and the books being read that are clearly from his bookcase. And there is this sort of moment of, He goes to his
My
cupboards and,
sanctum.
starts prepping some food. And he's quiet for about sort of 5 minutes before he sort of looks over his shoulder at whoever is nearby and it's like, have any of you eaten today?
Oh, that would have been a good
Oh.
idea. We did not do that. I'll think about that. We have, just been hanging out and chilling out. And oh, by the way, I am obsessed with this new spell I would like to try. Do you mind if I try it in your house? I wanted to ask before I did. Usually I don't ask these kinds of things. But, I thought that'd be respectful. Kind of looks over his shoulder at Alfred with like a thumbs up.
I appreciate the respect. What kind of spell, may I ask?
Well, I would like to find a familiar.
Just make sure you open a window in whatever room you choose to cast it in, preferably not the kitchen.
Okay.
Okay.
She, literally bounces out.
Speaking of food,
With her
though,
giant kind of scribey book that's all beautiful and fairy like, and she's just like bop 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 bop, almost dropping pink sparkles behind her.
Yeah,
Uh,
speaking of cooking,
do you need help with preparation of these meals?
it's a small kitchen. I think I'll manage. Do you all require food, or this is why I was asking if anybody's eaten or not?
We have travel rations, so we can eat those. It's quite fine.
If you haven't eaten, I'm asking so that I can make you some food.
Also, food sounds great, but thank you for your permission.
Food would be
the-
lovely.
The question catches up to her as she's already gone.
Very good. And just
We're trying to do the whole laying low thing, which meant we didn't quite make it to the market or anything.
so Surawatha has been basically, prone most of the day, relaxing and resting and trying to get her strength back. But at Ilios's return, she does rouse herself and comes over and sort of sees Frey at the table reading the book while Ilios starts moving around and cooking some food. And she sort of walks over, grabs the book, and starts scooting it over so there's room on the table, for people to sit and eat. And I can only imagine Frey with the nose in the book just immediately following the book as Surawatha's leading it away. And then she actually starts wiping down the table, and it's very slow and, very deliberate movements, like she's trying not to overexert herself, but she also is trying to help. And he just lets her have the working out of trying to get herself back into motion and moving. He doesn't speak a lot more while making up some food, which, whether you are enjoying it or you are reluctant, it is more stew. He hasn't really had a whole lot of time to go out and get ingredients to cook more things. This just seems to be the dish that he makes for himself most days. And he will serve a bowl of stew for every one of you. So that's 6 bowls of stew around a table meant for 3.
And the whole party loved it.
We put Vander's on the floor.
Yeah, Vander's in his cat form, just picking it up.
I do, as the food is being prepared, I go find Vander though, and I say, hey, maybe after dinner, while you're still in little boy form, you could, just go scout out on the roof or something? I don't want you to put yourself in danger, but potentially it would be good to just see lay of the land, if you know what I mean. Good talk. I know you believe in me sometimes, and I'm sometimes very smart. You recognize that. Stop talking back to me. I just we're both being we're pent up inside.
Yep.
We're gonna
Okay.
let it out on each other.
Well, after enjoying a meal, Ilios does just kind of push the bowl aside and listens with a certain level of stoicness to the slurping and the going on, and possibly the lapping of stew from a bowl on the floor. Sort of, brings his hands together, steeples under the chin, and looks at you almost like, so, all leaving tomorrow? I've made some arrangements. Are you happy with that?
We are. It is our time to
Very good.
leave the city, but also to, leave you to your home.
People come and go. As you can probably tell, I'm not unaccustomed to guests.
Not so many at once, perhaps.
Not so many at once, no. Well, I have arranged for some vestments. They will be arriving here tonight. At any point tomorrow, I suppose, as soon as you are ready. If you are, in fact, ready. Can be on your way.
I would prefer a level up before we go, but we are as ready as we can be. No, I'm
Level
joking.
up.
We are. I believe we are ready.
Very good. And he sort of looks over, Surawatha. And you? She just kind of nods. You see that the movement and the eating has maybe taken its toll on her, and she's ready to go back to sleep. But might be a slow journey with her for a little bit, but she's there. You all have supplies.
Yes, for plan A or B. So.
Well, when you choose to leave, I've actually been in contact with my son, and he has arranged for at least one member of the Aurora Watch to accompany you to the gates. If that is all right.
Is that to make sure we leave, or is it to help us get out?
It is so that nothing untoward happens. He and I both owe you a debt for the things that you've done. Personally and for the city. We wouldn't see more harm come to any of you.
I do not have a problem with further help. As long as everyone else is okay with it.
It would be a good idea.
And do you have any idea on when about you might be leaving so that I can convey that to him?
Maybe we should start in the early morning. Catch the guards, kind of at the end of their shift when they're a little bit tired from the night watch.
And it would make sense, would it not? Us going with the light.
Sitting out at the break of day. It would. I suppose the other question is, are you going on foot? Are you going to try and get some horses? Get some travel by cart?
We
Or
could
would you rather
always-
I didn't know?
We could always get our mounts that we had borrowed.
They are
It's
on
not
the other
large.
side of the Urend district,
Oh
are they
yeah,
not?
no, never mind.
It's not an arduous journey north. Just depends on how much of a hurry you're in. And if you are walking, he sort of, again, casts a concerned little glance to Sir Arthur. It's like, there might be some amongst you that are a little slower. She scowls.
Oh my.
Gnome harness.
This is when we miss Morius.
He gave it to Sekit,
Mhm.
didn't he?
He did. Yep.
Yeah.
Would it be more conspicuous for people to do a pilgrimage by horse, or?
However you choose. Pilgrimages occur by foot, by ship, by horse.
Oh, not ship. No.
Yeah, it would be
Uh.
awkward to go by ship from here. I'm just saying as a generalization.
I sup-
If I give my son some information about whether you wish to go by foot or not, he can also arrange for mounts. But it is entirely up to you whether you want to do that or not. Again, it's not an arduous journey. Just maybe a little bit slower by foot, unless you're in a hurry.
A cart could be a very good idea.
Yeah.
A bit of cover and a little bit of protection from the elements.
Perhaps 2 mounts and a cart. We can rotate turns on the mounts.
I'll send extra word to him. Pair of horses and a cart.
Thank you.
You have a talking cat.
I change back.
Yeah.
Now that he's not eating
You
dinner,
might
he's
have-
like,
yeah. It's like, all right, and yeah, so he sort of tidies up after the meal. And you get the impression that he himself is very tired and is sort of ready for some sleep. But he has one last conversation with the man by the door, who heads off into the evening. You guess to pass word on to Ilios's son. And
we know Ilios' son. Why can't I think of his name?
he was one of the first people you guys met in the
Yeah.
campaign. Yep.
Was it Captain Davin?
No.
Darvin?
No. I have this note. I wish
That's
my
all right.
COVID brain was working at more than 2%.
Yeah, I think we all feel that a bit. Not just your brain, all of our brains. Just one of those days. Alright, so.
I will get
So. Hitty.
Yes.
During the meal, before the meal,
Corporal Tucker. That's his son, right? Yeah.
Tucker. Yeah. You guys hit off. You hit it off to try your new spell. And it's your first time trying it. Make me an Arcana check because that's funny.
15.
15. You managed to get exactly the right amount of things that you need. So you're not going to end up stinking out the house, which is great, or burning through extra materials. But you're so focused on getting this spell exactly right. You've got that little excitement level for something brand new. You're going to have another wee little friend you get to introduce to the party, that you sort of don't really focus on what you're going to get. And perhaps inspired by pretty much the last form you saw him in, I rolled for crab.
Yeah.
Snip, snip, let's dip.
Snip, snip, time to dip. So, as you go through your incantation, the incense coming out of your little censer, in one of the little back rooms, window open, I hope. There is this sort of green poof, and it nothing initially. You're just like, okay, that's but there's a lot of green smoke, and start kind of roll it out the window. Does it?
Not disgust when you need it. Oh.
There's a wee little pinch on your leg, followed by a couple more. Would you like your crab to be like? Do you have some specific, like idea in mind? Like, do you have anything specific you would want your familiar to have as a physical trait of some kind? If you would like
Purple
to.
and pink. Everything's
Purple and
going to have something purple and pink. So I could almost imagine it's like crusted on sand, but it's like purple and pink glitter instead of sand.
So it's a pink shell crab instead of a red shell, and the sand seems to have that almost purplish, sort of almost tranced out kind of color to it. All right. Hard to see initially whether it's like actually sand or these weird little barnacles. It's really, really difficult, but it's just kind of spotted all over the shell. And these two little eyes look up at you, and you kind of get this little blink, blink, snip, snip.
Oh, hello! That was Irish or something. Oh, hello!
Yep.
This is crabs, boys.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
so happy.
yeah, he hasn't. Yeah, it hasn't got a name at this point, but it is a pink crab with some purple sand crusted onto it at the moment. But it after getting an Irish hello, it immediately sort of side scuttles down your leg, and then immediately just kind of traces the perimeter of the spell that you'd made, and then goes out further and traces the perimeter of the room, and it just kind of goes up to the door sideways and just sort of examines the room.
You're already going to work. Oh, this is amazing. We are going to be great friends. And she's going to scoop him up and pop it on her shoulder. I'm just trying to work out how big they come through.
most of them are considered tiny creatures.
Like a paddle crab.
Yeah, they're not big. The most of them are considered tiny. I think the only way you can change that is through the very specific warlock thing. And because of your typing, I don't think you get that. But you know, things can be worked on in the future. But yeah, it as you sort of scooch it up onto the shot, it's very new to this existence. And if it's ever existed as a familiar before or a spirit entity, I don't know which type of spirit entity you are making it.
Faye.
I think it might be. It's a little consternated by this, and so it immediately reaches up with its pincer and onto your hair to kind of make sure it's got its own balance on your shoulder. Absolutely, completely oblivious to the fact that you might be wincing in pain right now.
We will work on that. You know, I thought you would be maybe soft and cuddly, and you know, I think this is a fantastic form. We're gonna snip, snip, and dip. I like toddle out, and there's like this crab on my shoulder, wrapped up in my hair, like little eyeballs going everywhere.
Its little eye stalks are just. It's almost like it's going the human equivalent of cross-eyed, trying to look in two different directions. You know, too many new things for it to see, and it's up very high. Even though you're Hetty and you're a gnome, which isn't very high, to the crab's perspective, it's up very high. So. All right. Is there anything else you guys want to do for the evening?
I suggested to Vander to go do like a investigate.
Yeah, he'll do it.
See if the house is being watched. I'd do
Okay.
it, but I suck at rolling.
That's all right. That's not a good reason.
I tend to suck at rolling a lot of the times as well.
Goes to investigate.
it just
for
says it.
Walker.
Norfred knows her capabilities, and she knows how to delegate. Go.
Ah, leadership qualities. I
All
see.
right. Yep. So,
Excellent.
you gonna go investigate, are you?
Yeah, he's gonna go out of one of the windows, climb up onto the roof
In cat
in his
form.
cat form.
Yeah. Okay. And you're just gonna keep
Just
an
do
eye out. You're
surveying.
gonna go for a wander, or
A little bit of both. He'll like lie down and have a look. Then after a little bit of time, he might walk over to a different angle on the roof, then lie down there.
just make a general perception check. And what's up, Norfred?
Before he left, I cast Allied Footsteps on him.
Okay. Cool. So you guys know where each other are at all times, just like a sense, a feeling in the back of your head.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's horrible, but has to be done. I don't know why I'm sassy. I think it's the COVID.
It might be. Yeah.
That's a 9.
It's a 9. Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
The night is very dark, even to your cat-like vision. It's very easy to tell that the summer district is a lot quieter than you've seen it. Like,
I'm gonna
By
use
day or
Beyond
by
Sight
night.
and succeed. I don't care.
okay, all right.
Yay!
So yeah, keep in mind that's a success, not a critical success, but that's
Yeah.
okay. Yep.
It's just a success.
Yep. So we'll treat that as just overall for however long you choose to be out here. I don't know if you're going to stay out here all night.
He probably
not,
would, yeah.
That's not you. That means you forego a long rest.
He can't sleep on the roof.
I mean, okay, yeah. What I mean is keeping watch. If you're out here
Are
keeping
you
watch all
keeping
night,
watch till Corporal?
or are you going to sleep out here?
He'll sleep out here.
Okay, no, that's cool. That's fine. I misunderstood. I understand.
He's gonna watch for a while, and then he's gonna find a nice, warm, little sheltered place and go to sleep.
Gonna sleep against the chimney of Elias's house.
So there's because that's a success. There's a vague amount of activity that you sort of notice a little bit later on, but it seems to be a member of the Aurora Watch conversing with the acolyte from the temple who'd been out the front. And sort of that happens once or twice over the course of however long you choose to watch. Just like there's messages being back and forth about whatever's going on. You also can't help but notice the fact that there is still to the south of where you are, along the opposite side of the Koran River, there are still members of the Rubrum Cascade, the Vassian Guard, if you will, still spaced along that inner curtain wall and across the bridge, many of them with their torches, still holding what looks like much less of a blockade than there was, but very much still being about as vigilant as people can get on a persistent watch. And it's very, very difficult not to feel, even here at this time of night, just with that alone and how quiet this is, the fact that that tension that has been building in the city and that looked like it was erupting, it may have settled for now, but it's still just on a knife's edge. It'd take, another incident to erupt into chaos again. But that won't be your concern right now.
Let's not provide that incident.
But you find your rest on the roof. For whoever else is inside, I will also say that Ilios, before retiring for the night himself, will whoever is there and paying attention, which I suppose is Nofrit, Frey. I don't know if your nose is still in book.
No, it wouldn't be.
Surawatha is probably gone to lie down and get some more sleep. Even though she may not be tired, she's just trying to get as much strength as she can. I don't know about Hetty and Crab Friend. Snip, snip, got a dip. But he will sort of sit down and pull out sort of this. It's kind of like this tiny little container with a almost like a sealed top on it. And he will sort of with two fingers just scooch it into the middle of the table for whoever is there.
Yeah, I'm there.
Yeah, I'm there.
Okay.
Hetty's kind of there, but she's like made like this she's making this makeshift stuff for her crab. So like,
Making a
enamored with
tutu
the new
for it.
thing. So this is something that he has been making for a while. He's got some reserves of it himself, but he for whoever is there, it is a restorative ointment.
Oh.
So if somebody is injured, it doesn't quite function the same as a healing potion, but it is applied to the edges of whatever injury you may have sustained, and it will heal 2d8 plus 2 hit points.
Whoa.
It is limited, however. There are only 4 uses of ointment in this jar.
Okay.
If you want to use it in battle, it's an action to use. Regardless of whether you're using it on yourself or on somebody else, doesn't matter. It's an action to apply this ointment.
Does it smell like peppermint?
It actually has a very nice, almost sort of flowery scent, but it's kind of got this almost not. I don't want to say heat because that then makes people think of like deep heat, but it's almost got like if unsealing the jar, it almost has this very faint undertone of like a burnt foliage smell to it.
Oh.
And it's not nasty though. It kind of just has that ever so faint, almost sickly kind of like this is very clearly a medicinal thing.
Yeah.
Strong
medicinal.
It's not unpleasant, and it actually reminds you of some of the flora from Terrigonia. That that there are certain cacti-like plants there that can actually be harvested, and the sap on the inside, the sap itself will burn if it's applied to the skin, but when mixed with certain other things, it can create a restorative ointment. So that's what he's done here.
With giant crossbows. Oh my gosh, Captain Vage, that's an image. Image and a half. That's an apple's image.
I mean,
Do
I was
you
about to say,
have
I did do, yeah.
recipe for this?
Yes, I do.
Because
You-
my lovely sister and Frey here, they're trying to start up a healing thing.
I see.
I mean, this is an ointment. We're trying to do more in the way of potions, but this is good stuff. This is very impressive.
Also not easy or cheap to make unless you're willing to do a bit of traveling or spending your own money to buy the ingredients.
This does smell like Tergonia.
It's made, yes.
Hetty's
That is
gonna
where
take
the primary-
half of the smell.
That is where the primary ingredient comes from.
Now that alone is good to know. No, everywhere we look, Frey, could be a potential new ingredient we figure out how to use.
We could always do potions and like food that, when consumed, heals.
That
You
is
know-
right, yeah. The food is your forte. I'm a liquid diet kind of person.
You want to know how it's made?
I mean, we would love to know but we would not ask you to give away any secrets if this is your recipe, you know.
It's not a secret, but if you're going to make it, don't sell it. Just use it to help people.
I mean, we have to start somewhere. Customer base, and first off, helping people. That's kind of priority number one, honestly.
And he sort of gets out a little bit of parchment and sort of looks at you, it's like, I take it you can read.
Yes.
Just checking.
Most interesting question I've been asked in weeks, I must say.
Hey, not everybody can, you know. And he does scribble out a formula or a recipe of some kind to how to create this restorative ointment.
Excellent.
It is, I mean, I could tell you, but I mean, it's 5 parts thorn sap to 3 parts elixir. And you need to add in, I think it's, I'm just going to make it up, 3 drops of rose oil. There you go.
Hmm.
The first 2 parts aren't, but I knew what that was going to be. But a certain amount of rose oil will be the final part.
Was it 5 parts sap? What?
Thorn sap.
Thorn sap, 3 parts elixir, and 3 drops of rose oil.
It's the one.
What part of that is from Terragonia? The
Thorn sap.
Thorn sap.
Yep. The elixir is actually the expensive part to try and get, because that only comes from the Drakan colonies.
Wow.
So it is imported.
Oh.
It is imported from the islands off the coast of the mainland, and it only grows there. Thorn sap, you can get that from almost anywhere within Terragonia, but the elixir is the rare ingredient. But it's also probably one of the most well-known ingredients. It's highly medicinal and has a wide variety of uses.
Is this why you're learning Drakan? Passionately, yes. The language. We found the book.
Learning. Oh, guests in my home, snooping through my things.
We just needed some literature to pass the time.
I had an interest in different languages. Most of the stuff in there is from a long time ago, when I had time.
You are very busy.
I did have a desire at one point to visit Tanaroa and meet the Drakan, but they keep their home fairly reclusive, and I got busy, so. Plus, most of them speak common anyway, so close to a waste of time, I guess you could say.
Learning is
it's-
never a waste of time.
Is not.
It's always good to learn different languages too, just in case.
Very much so.
Sometimes it is all I could do when I was locked away, so...
And I'm glad that you no longer are. Well, I will be sitting out early in the morning. I will ensure that the things arrive for you before I go.
Where were you going?
I'll be resuming my duties at the temple, of course.
Of course. And that is safe?
Of course. At the moment, it's about the safest thing I can do. People need help. And a lot more of this. And he sort of taps the jar. Plus, a little bit of faith in days like this goes a long way. Regardless of what that faith may be. I'm going to retire for the night. I'll see you all in the morning. Gets up and actually heads off to his tiny little room. So, anything else? You guys want to retire for the night?
Sleep.
Okay.
That is
The
already
last
asleep.
Last
Yeah.
thing Hetty wants to do is just kind of practice the telepathy with the crab, and just ask it if it has a Fey name already, or whether it wanted a name.
Nobody's ever asked me if I've got a name. Slanderous.
I
So
love it,
what?
Slanderous.
Yeah. Slanderous.
Slanderous.
Probably just call me Slan for short or something. I don't know. Words in my head is kind of odd.
All right, Slan. We are going to have a beautiful friendship.
Excellent.
I may
What was
change.
your name?
I'm Hetty. I do have a sister who pops out from this body who's slightly taller, and that's second.
Holy shit, that's terrifying.
Not scarier than anything else in this world.
I'm suddenly very afraid for my existence in this world.
I got you.
Oh,
Okay.
there's so many of you.
Well,
Why are there so many? Victoria!
Hooray!
Holy guacamole! Hello, joiners. How are you all? Hi,
Well-
Argon. Hi, Victoria. Welcome to D&D today, folks.
Well, I as long as you and your sister that's liable to pop out of your body at any moment are gonna try and keep me safe, I guess it's nice to meet you, Hetty.
It's lovely to meet. I can't fucking. It's lovely to meet you too.
All right,
This is going to be great.
all right.
She like just gently taps the shell lovingly.
Ow. Just, you know, don't let your animal friend eat me.
I imagine you could go snip snip and he would no longer be
Thank
interested.
you, Argon.
But I will let him know.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, hello, Raiders.
How was your stream, Victoria? Thank you for the raid. And Archon, thanks for the belief. We just met Slanderous the crab.
The crab familiar, yep. Right. So, anything else for the evening, or are you guys having your rest?
We have our ways. Well, I'm ready.
All right. Trey? Nothing?
Yep, I'm ready.
All right. You'll look at your long rest. Not interrupted by dreams or visions or anything weird or crazy. Although, you know, Hetty, you might hear occasionally throughout the night the odd little bit of click, 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 as Slanderous tries to find his way, you know, experiencing this new experience. A fae torn from its own realm and trapped in the body of a small little snipper. But you all wake up the following morning. And it does appear as though Passionilius is already up. He is in his small little room, having a conversation with the acolyte who had been remaining by the door. And whenever you are all ready to join him, he will let you know that your vestments have arrived. You may don them as you wish. You will be pilgrims, the Sun Seekers.
Sun Seekers.
And there is a member of the Aurora Watch ready to go with you and escort you to the northern gate and out of the city of Kasqorn whenever you are ready. He is going to take his leave, unless there is anything else.
What do pilgrims usually do? Like, if we get asked, what are we pilgriming?
I was going to propose that Frey leads this portion of our expedition so that she can speak to religious things that some of us are not as versed in.
Well, as Sun Seekers, and you're heading north from Kasqorn to the Summer Realms, you will be, I imagine, attempting to visit either the primary temple in Sunhaven, if that is your destination, or you can tell people that's your destination. Each village, town, city along the way has what is known as a Summerstone. They are large red monoliths that are set up in village squares or just outside the town that have engravings in them that tell the story of the Summer Realms. They are typically where pilgrims go to worship if there is no temple or place of faith to the Keeper of Summer. As for what you choose to do when you leave the city, that is entirely up to you. This is just a way for you to safely leave.
I just meant if they asked us, where we were headed, that would be good.
Telling them you're heading to Sunhaven, whether it's truth or lie, will probably be one of the best options. It's very, very unlikely that any of the Sun Seekers telling you they're going to go to Sunhaven is going to be looked at with any kind of suspicion. Unless the person looking was already suspicious.
I'm not too sure on the Keeper of Summer's saying, but is there a saying that you all say when saying goodbye?
Not particularly.
Okay.
Just, no, not particularly.
It's just in case.
No, I understand. But I suppose if anybody really does want to question you, just drop my name at them.
Thank you for all of your help.
Thank you. Stay safe. And I hope you find what you're looking for. All of you. And he sort of, gives one sort of extra special nod to Surawatha. You can still see he's got that little bit of fatherly concern about whether she's going to be up for this or not. But,
Y'all grown-ups. You make up your own minds.
And he just does sort of go around and, give handshakes or shoulder pats. For leaving his own house to head off to the Temple of the Sun. And whenever you guys are ready, whatever you want to do, day's yours. You now have your vestments of the sun, so...
Before Frey put on the vestments, she does do a little, to the Keeper of Winter, I'm very sorry for this.
Aww.
And then to the
Yeah.
Keeper of Summer, I'm very sorry for this.
Yeah. Yeah, Keeper of
Yeah.
Winter and Summer aren't exactly on the best terms, so that's fair.
It's an apology.
Alright.
Hetty's gonna tie her little cincture around like her waist to make herself look more priesty.
I mean, there's full sets of sashes and various accoutrements that are there for however decked out you want to get. But primarily, you've got the this sort of almost, it looks very almost like kind of like the Aurora Watch. There's sort of this orange and rose gold robes with a stylized half sun that takes up the main chest area. They're less robes and more these kind of tunics that have these long bottom halves that, probably doesn't promote running all that much in case you sort of get tangled up in that length of cloth. But, that's probably what the belted sash is for, so that should you find yourself in a situation where you do need to run in said vestments, you can actually loop that bottom fold up and into the sash. But yeah, it's very standoutish. Just the color scheme of this orange and rose gold, and this bright sort of engraving of a stylized half sun. It's very, very obvious compared to some of the other attire you've seen other people wear. Almost like it was specifically designed for you to stand out.
Oh, that's not nerve-wracking at all.
Oh, it's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Hide in plain
It's
sight.
fine.
I do it all the time.
Just keep our heads down and, don't talk too much. I think, we are all, some of us are reasonably recognizable from the last, time we were here. So we should just keep our head down, keep quiet, and let Frey do the talking this time.
Yes.
I put the hood up, and I just solemnly walk out.
Okay. You are all getting into your attire.
Yeah, do
So-
the sleeve thing.
Yep. So Sekid or Hidi?
It's actually going to be Sekit because during the Douglas fight she was Hetty.
Right. Learning to share a
And-
bit more, huh?
Learning to share a bit
Despite-
more,
Despite
and the
recent.
fact,
Yeah.
Okay, I ran out.
and the fact that she's been better letting Hetty out and play with her spells and stuff. Hetty, that they're finding a kind of balance, but
Yep.
And also they want the longer robe, so that because if Hetty had just got it, Sekit would just basically have a mini dress if she.
I mean,
had changed.
that was taken into consideration. I mean, you had your talk about being a changeling with Passion Ilios quite a while back, so he is aware of your two sides. So there is a spare one there. Just be aware that if you change while you're wearing the Sekit-sized one, you are going to end up in drapery.
But we do have a belt to do that tying up thing.
And I assume Vander is going to be in hybrid form?
Yeah.
Yep, cool. All right. So, you're all dressed up and set to go, are you?
Does the familiar stick around?
I mean... yes, it does, until it is either dismissed or destroyed.
Just have to hide a crab on your robes.
Morius is rescuing the gnome.
We have not introduced point redeems to ruin D&D.
For
Games in this?
silly games broken, yeah, I set up redeems like that on my channel when I
Yeah.
do silly games. For the proper campaign, I sort of want to avoid that sort of thing if possible. All right.
We did set up. There's also a dice bot on your channel. I don't think.
Yeah, I've got a
Cody's-
dice bot on mine.
I don't think we've set up a dice bot
I
here.
don't think we set up one on yours, no.
Um,
Right. So, you all acquire your vestments. You all I suppose,
Performance,
get
check
ready.
it out.
Yeah. And this includes Surawatha, who has her own sort of vest and cloak. You see she's actually in a full set of traveling leathers, and has a bow with her. Seems to be her weapon of choice. And you know, there is kind of that brief moment of, oh, yeah, we're pilgrims with weapons. That's going to be interesting.
I
This
mean,
is
that's how the
fine.
city is.
This is fine. This is
Like
fine.
a fate dice? Like a fate plus
There
or
is always
minus?
dangers on the road. It is safer to be prepared.
Would you like to be carried at all, Sir Arthur? We have a special harness.
I think I'm okay for now.
As long as
at
we
least-
get to the city edge,
At least,
then we get the
exactly.
wagon.
At least while we're in the city, I think I'd rather try and walk. I mean, I've been unconscious for keep knows how long, and I haven't even been allowed outside to see the sun. So I wouldn't mind the fresh air and the walk. But I'll let you know if I need help.
Make sure that you do, because I can help. If not, you know, we're gonna have a lovely little stroll.
Thank you. So, Casual Chaos Club, you ready to set out?
Oh my gosh.
You still haven't
Yes.
announced your name officially to anybody. So, all right.
We were still spitballing last.
You were.
We were like, oh, something like cruise, like cloud.
chaos conversation. Makes this sound fancy.
So you step out through the doors out of Passionadios' residence into the streets of Kasqorn. It is quite a nice day. The street is rather narrow here in this little residential area. And the acolyte who has been both guarding your door and running your shopping errands is still standing there with his big steel yo-yos looking like suns hanging from his waist, waiting for you to depart. As you all file out, he does pull out a key and locks Ilios's house for him. And without saying a word, just motions and begins to set off. Clearly it seems as though he is taking you to wherever the Aurora Watch person is going to be. Man of not really any words, this one.
Can we trust him?
I don't know, can you? So, following-
As we walk along, I'm just gonna keep a little eye out for anyone following us.
make a general perception check.
General, not commander perception, just general perception.
Just a general check. You're just keeping an eye out. You're
Oh,
not looking for
shit.
something specific. You're just keeping an eye out.
Keeping an eye out with a natural 20.
Hey, excellent.
Wow, these are no Fritz
These are
dice.
good, yeah, these are these are good
These are
dice.
from my
We
sister.
love natural 20s.
Love that.
All right. So, I will keep that in mind. So, it is only a short distance before the small street does open out into one of the larger ways. And there, keeping his distance from Ilios's house, you do see the dark skin of Corporal Taka.
Yay!
Nice.
It seems as though the member of the Aurora Watch that will be escorting you
It's
the
none
rest of the way
other
out of the
than
city
Taka Boy.
is Taka, Ilios's son Taka, who, unsurprisingly, did decide to keep his distance from his father's house, where, although it does seem as though the two of them are very slowly starting to communicate again, there's still a level of uncomfortability there. So, but he does nod as the acolyte comes up, and the acolyte sort of gives this sharp little bow and straightens his shoulders, looks, and then just immediately sets off down south towards the shop fronts along the Koran River. You get the idea he's going to probably loop all the way around to the temple. Taka stands there for a moment, observing you all. Little nod. It's like, well, it's been a while.
guess.
I hear we've got you to thank for some of the chaos in the city.
Was not our
What?
intention.
I know. I never said it was.
What is exactly going on? Perhaps you can fill us in on our way.
Yeah, let's start walking. And he immediately turns and starts
Sacket's
getting
going to
more.
take up rear guard.
Yep.
Keep a watch for anything coming up behind
He's-
them.
He's probably really happy that we mentioned walking because of the last time where we just sat at the door.
The whole time. Yeah. So he does start sitting a pace north. You got your. You'll actually be passing through the square that will be where the Aurora Watch barracks and the big library and city hall are, as well as the summer embassy. Will be the first one you go through, and then the next square up is the performers square, and then you've finally got the trade square at the very far north of the summer district. But as you start walking, the streets are very quiet. Like, you'd usually see the people setting off to do the work, head to the markets, do the shopping, and it is just so noticeably barren of people. It almost has its own sort of feeling of being ominous. But as Corporal Tarka sort of heads off north, goes, well, with whatever the inciting incident was the other night, and whatever individuals were involved, and he's doing deliberate pauses as well, so as, hey, if people are overhearing, he's not deliberately saying it had anything to do with you guys. Like, it seems as though many of the guilds are taking their opportunity to make their power play a little sooner than expected. The Cerulean Dawn has already reached out and quashed several of those that were on the rise, and they bought out others. Several guilds have either been assimilated into others, or have just simply disbanded. I would say, hopefully, and it's a really hard thing to say, that whatever this might be, hopefully it'll be over soon. I don't agree with Cerulean Dawn's tactics, but a city at peace under them is far better than a city in discord. Especially when we're a trade city. Any interruptions here are going to affect the entire Reach. But for now, they've made their play by obviously getting the Rubrum Cascade to restrict access to travel between the districts. So they are very clearly targeting the Summer District first, taking advantage of the chaos of the other night. Top guilds are already capitulating, which is both a good thing and a bad thing.
And all of the chaos that has been happening over the last so many days, has a name Douglas, has the name Douglas come up in your circles to any degree?
Hasn't come up in circles. I certainly heard it. He came at one point to the barracks to report the theft of an item from Lady Rendalem's abode. We didn't follow up on that because, well, we had other concerns. And the Lady Rendalem at the moment is, let's just say, a little bit suspect with her own dealings. She's under investigation for a number of other things, including, well, her own level of fraud within the guild that her family set up. So,
That is unfortunate.
it is, but you're gonna get that with greedy nobles. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that. You're gonna get that with greedy people.
True. So, if the guilds are making all their moves, why are the group that were part of the inciting incident being searched for?
They're not.
They're not?
I don't believe so. I mean, if they were, they'd probably just be being brought in for questioning as to what happened. I don't know who'd be chasing them other than the authorities. If there was something they wanted to report, I'm sure they would have come to the authorities and reported it.
Huh.
Yeah, you guys have been under a little bit of self-delusion for a wee while. It's fine.
No. Passion Ilias has been lying to us.
Nope.
Oh no, he's been lying.
Nope.
Passion Ilias is actually the bad guy. He's been lying to us, and that's why he wanted us to stay at his house.
I'm sure
I'm
he said
pretty
that we
sure
were
that is
being.
not true.
We were being hunted. That's what we got told. That it was super dangerous. We needed to leave.
Yeah, no, and I believe that, but I thought we were specifically being.
Looked for.
Yeah.
Specifically? No.
Huh.
Well, we all
Misunderstood
felt
that.
that.
Yep. No, I get that.
We all felt that.
Yep. Which is
But I
why
think
it was
it's-
just amusing me with a lot of the stuff, but I've been trying not
Because
to
it's-
disabuse you of that notion because it's been funnier.
Because Douglas sort of left that horrible end note of, I'll see you again. Yes. I
No,
still think it's
you're
good
ro-
that we lay low.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
Aurora.
100%.
Honestly, the only reason they would have wanted to talk to the people that were involved was to get their side of what was going on.
Well, the people that we saved could tell them.
And if you were being hunted, it wasn't by any specific faction that Tarka knows about. So whilst it may not necessarily be true or untrue,
Yeah. Puppy.
just wants the cuddles.
Oh, so cute. Wants to eat everything. And wants to mute your microphone.
All right.
Have any of our friends, Taka, have they been back in the city? Do you know?
Can't say I've seen any of them except for that tall, dark-haired fellow. You know, the one with the hat.
Mm.
But did nothing wrong, apparently.
He did not, yeah.
Oh, it took me by surprise initially because I was led to believe he was dead. But
The sun has many ways.
The sun has many rays.
Oh, that's good. I like that.
I got all of the sun puns when I was growing up. This hurts. Okay.
I bet you had the good sun puns too.
Oh yeah, he had a long time to work on those. No, I can't say I've really had too much to do with anybody since you returned from your excursion outside the city,
Our pilgrimage.
where I didn't meet you or hand you, rewards for a job well done.
The initial pilgrimage was fruitful in our faith.
Second to
Is-
snort.
Is she gonna be like this the whole way?
She might.
Getting into
All right.
character.
He starts setting a faster pace.
That is fair.
Yeah.
How up to date on our specifics are you?
My passion has given me a heads up on certain things that have happened as much as he feels like I need to know. Specifics? No.
Tend to look at second like How much should we tell him?
You know, I think, us talking about it's probably, at this point in time, not worth it.
Helpful.
Okay.
Honestly, he sort of turns sort of halfway as he sort of slows his stride a little bit. And it's like, for right now, as much as I actually would like to know what's going on, it's probably best I don't.
Probably.
Probably.
Right? For all of us. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but for right now, with everything going on in this city, I would rather appreciate the fact that you've quietly in the background helped. You've done some good. And if you have happened to be involved in anything nefarious, which I don't believe,
Not that
No, of course
style.
not.
No.
I'd rather find out about it after you were gone. Or maybe when I'm not on duty.
That's a fair call.
It is.
But I'm sure my father's already thanked you for the good that you've done, and
He has.
I do too.
He
I
has thanked
appreciate
us
that.
with both words and with actions, and we appreciated all of it.
Fixing all right stew.
I do have fond memories of that stew, yeah.
You should eat it with him one day.
Wish he mixed it up a little more.
Do you have the recipe?
No, I don't.
Maybe you should
Honestly,
get
when
it.
I left home and eating mostly stew for years, you were kind of glad to be over it, and maybe you only appreciated it later.
Having left the comfort of stew, yeah.
Look, my father and I are starting to talk. Let's not push that. This is
No
not
worries,
about me.
Broken. I agree with Vander though, you should go eat it. Maybe just bring a spicy pepper to mix it up or something for him.
Maybe in time.
Time with the family is very fleeting. You should enjoy it while you can.
It is.
That doesn't hurt extra.
And sometimes we find our own family rather than being born into it. So the same goes for that too.
This is
And
true.
sometimes both. Seki kind of
Sometimes
grins
both.
at Nofret and the rest of them.
At this point, you are in the northern part of the trade square, rapidly approaching the northern gate. This is where you've got the large statue for the Keeper of Trade, Temple of Trade. You've got the Kirith Nan building, as well as the warehouse that you initially met, where you had your little meeting with Douglas over the other side. And there is a street, a wide street off to the left, that it would lead you down to where the Ish's Arms Orphanage and the Rusted Coppers are. You are right on the northern edge of the city.
Okay, Fred. Just go. I walk behind Fred. Then we're just gonna. I'm going to look solemnly at the ground as we walk.
He takes a slight deviation off to the right, where you do see that there are some of the stables and pens owned by Aquinas Fajon, the one of the guilds. And you do see that there is, in fact, a pair of horses and a cart.
Yay!
There waiting with a with a small sort of kobold that seems to be sort of holding on to the reins, one each, sort of holding onto it over his shoulders and just sort of looking around. He's got a small little patch on his shoulder that is the same color as the Aurora Watch vestment that Tarka's wearing. And as Tarka sort of walks up, he nods to the wee kobold. The kobold sort of straightens his back, gives a very sharp and curt nod that looks incredibly uncomfortable before sort of holding the reins up, which Tarka grabs before sort of lastly turning around, dangling loosely in his hand. The kobold sort of, this little boy kobold sort of turns around and starts walking away, and then Tarka's like, reaches over and actually drops a gold coin into the back of his shirt. And you see the kobolds and just immediately start trying to find it as it clatters to the cobblestones. And then he realizes it's gold, and just his eyes, and he goes. He's out. He's gone.
This will help muchly in our pilgrimage. Sons bless you.
Yes.
May sons seek and you be found.
Oh my lord. All right, fine. Just get on the goddamn cart.
Second kind of gives him a one-arm squeeze and just grins at him cheekily. She pops up.
Okay, wait,
Yeah.
hold on. Who's steering the cart and who rides the horse?
Oh, I could ride.
Okay.
You should probably steer, Alfred.
Me steer the cart.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can do it, right?
Yeah, how hard can it be?
Oh, please tell me that one of you knows how to drive a cart.
I know how to drive a gold cart.
You point it in that direction and you go. How hard is that?
I'm reasonably good with animals.
Right.
We come from a goat herding tribe, so.
I'm going to walk beside.
That sounds like a solid plan. Should I? And he sort of looks directly at you, Vander. Should I prepare any medics for any broken bones in the next half an hour?
I mean, if you happen to have any spare healing potions.
As a parting gift, I was going to give you a little bit of something. So, yes.
Wow.
Oh,
We
Get up on
didn't
the
get you
horse.
anything.
So who's doing what? Surawatha, as much as she looks like she still wants to walk, this length of walking has exhausted her. And so she knows that as much as she'd like to keep going, the fact that she's gone this far and is already tired, she clambers very eagerly up onto the seat of the cart. Not in a driving position, because it sounds like somebody else wants to drive.
I will drive.
Yep. And is anybody else going in the cart, or?
Second's gonna go on the other horse, but before she goes, she's gonna gently put down the crab next to Sir Arthur. He's actually very good. He will look after you.
Frey will go into the cart as well.
I'm going to
Vander's
look
gonna
after my
ride a
crab.
horse.
Right. Wait, Vander's going to ride a horse?
what?
Because we got two
Just-
horses and a cart.
Yeah, one is for pulling the cart.
Oh, okay. I see.
The other one's
I see.
for riding.
We
yeah.
have an outrider and the cart.
And the other thing being that depending on how long you want to go for, you might want to rotate the horses for the cart.
Mm-hmm.
So it's up to you whether somebody rides the other horse or you keep it as a spare pulling horse.
Have an outrider.
Cool.
Also,
So who's doing that?
Second would just sway down the carts.
So Seket's going to be be on the other horse. Nofrid is driving the cart.
Yeah.
Vander and Frey are going to be walking.
None of us have animal handling, right?
Oh, we'll find out very shortly. But yeah, Vander and Frey walking. then?
Van is walking. Frey's in the cart. with
Frey's
Sir
in the
Arthur.
cart. Okay, cool. That was I was trying to figure out if anybody else was actually in
She
the cart.
walks too slow.
Yeah. There. Okay. So yes, as you all sort of take your positions, Taka does pull out a little sack. It's just a small one. And you do sort of very faintly hear the clinking. You'd ordinarily, it's pretty soft and there'd be enough people around and noises to drown it out, but because it's so quiet, you do kind of hear the fact that there is some clinking in there. And he reaches up and just places it inside the cart. So he's not directly giving it to any of you. Before sort of stepping back and just assessing you all for a minute. What a group of shitheads.
I
Casual Chaos. That is our name. We've decided.
a club.
Somewhat appropriate. You're a club.
Casual chaos. A club for.
Well, you guys certainly caused a stir that night outside the Rusted Coppers.
I
But
I wasn't there for that.
No, I didn't meet you until later.
I assure you, though, Vandor, we made enough ruckus for you too.
Oh, thank you.
And he does catch the eye of Surawatha. It's like, I'm glad to see that whatever was going on, you seem to have resolved. And I hope that one day I can get the full story. From you. So once again, thank you for what you've done for us. Stay safe. And let the sun warmth guide you.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's the one.
You didn't hear me say that, don't tell my father. Now get out of here.
Sounds sick.
Sick, it just crows from the back of the horse.
Let the sun's warmth guide you.
Alright. So, you're gonna try and, Cool.
Oh boy.
So, do you have land vehicles at all as a skill?
No.
Or proficiency?
I've got the shoes.
Cool. And I suppose the person riding the horse doesn't either? This is going to go so well.
I love this.
So, I'm going to get a handling check from both of you. As you just immediately kick off and get going.
Yeah.
Four.
I did say hello to the horse first, and I let it sniff my hand. Before
I
got
did
behind.
not.
Sounds like
cannot-
something a pretend horse girl would say.
I'm gonna fight you. I got a 14, sir.
Alright, so with a 14, let's just say that after trying to sort of figure out how the reins work, trying to get it all into place and sort of realizing there's an animal that's much bigger, heavier, and stronger than you at the end of it, getting yourself seated on this bit of wood and just eventually you sort of do get a little bit of movement and the horse immediately starts going sideways. And the cart's kind of almost being dragged along the cobbles sideways. It will take a moment. You do eventually get a little bit of forward movement.
Ease off, we turn this way.
You are immediately distracted though by the sound of a thump. As Seket, having attempted to mount the horse, and possibly having never done so before in her life, launches herself full on into the side of the horse and doesn't even go over it. She just tries to go up and just immediately goes back with a 4. You take a point of bludgeoning damage as you hit the cobblestones. And the horse immediately trots sideways to get away from you.
Taka, looking at this, is probably just gaining grey hairs.
Oh, no,
Just-
he's, with the incredibly high passive perception that two of you have and not being involved in it, the two of you can almost hear the chuckle under his breath. Yeah.
Love that.
Out of
That was just the
curiosity.
warm-up to let you know I am here. Let us try that again.
Would you like to make another check? Okay, go for it. Nofred, if you would also like to make another check, just to see if you can actually get yourself moving properly.
I would. I just want. Does friends work on animals?
I think it's got to be a language thing. Also, you are aware, I'm sure, that if you cast friends at the expiry of that, the creature will know that you've will be immediately
Cast a spell
hostile
on it.
towards you.
Yeah.
It'll be immediately
I
hostile
just wanted
towards
to get
you.
over the initial.
It's not just when you cast a spell; the creature
Barrier.
becomes hostile.
Alright. I'm gonna
It's the way
do
friends works.
animal handling.
It's a terrible thing. Anyway,
Animal
I got a
3. So this time you do actually manage to get up as you kind of almost planking on the top of the horse, trying to figure out how you're supposed to swing your body into place. And as you do try to bring your leg up and realize, okay, now I've got to get my underneath leg over, you just roll off the back of the horse and take another
no.
couple of points of
Oh, no.
bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
I got 19.
19? Cool. 15 was the DC for somebody who has absolutely no idea what they're doing to at least get this thing going in the
Just like
direction
a
they
gold
want.
card. It's just bigger.
So the cart sets off towards the gate.
Can I like woo
Um,
the horse and be like, just bring the horse next to the cart and use it as like a ladder to get on?
Would you like to make another animal handling check at disadvantage to see if you can do that while being insanely focused on trying to guide the cart that you only just got moving in the direction you want? And possibly lose control of both? Because that's hilarious. I'll let you do it.
I was
I was just gonna
I was
pull the
gonna help
horse up.
Sicket. Yeah,
Okay, if Vanda jumps off, I'm gonna be like, okay, we're rolling.
Fender was
we're
never
moving.
on.
Evander was
That's
never
true.
on, yeah.
You sit off, and I was like, I'll keep moving.
Sicket, what are you gonna do?
At this point, her pride's slightly.
Just let me help you.
Is her pride her ass? Because she did hurt that on the way down.
Oh, the first time it was the ass as she got bounced.
Yeah.
The second time she basically rolled off the back of it. So it's probably
Oh.
her shoulder the second time around. Yeah.
Pride is in many places.
Look, I'm just letting the horse know that I am here at the moment.
Which
But
is
if
weird.
you
It's
want
well
to
aware of
assist
you.
me, that's fine. You know, I am sure I am capable, but
You are very capable.
maybe it just wants to work. You know, I will give her one more chance.
Yep. Give her one more chance. Okay. Are you ready?
Of course. She's gonna.
You're gonna try it again. So what are you doing to? Are you gonna try and help Evander?
Yeah, he's gonna like cup his hands for her to step in, like,
Boost her up.
give her a little boost, but also like stable her as she goes up and onto it.
The moment he sees the fact that you're going to try and boost her up, and the fact she's failed twice, and he's almost let out an audible laugh, Taka also walks around to the front of the horse and just kind of, strokes his muzzle and then actually holds the reins for you. So the horse isn't going anywhere. Make an animal handling check on advantage for help.
7.
Fuck me!
I rolled a 6 and a 7, and there is a +0.
This time you do go
Forgot you
straight
had,
over
like,
the horse.
No wisdom.
Yeah, you manage to get up on top of the horse and then just start sliding straight off the other side.
You know,
and
I think she just wants to work as I'm like
Yeah.
slowing down.
Okay.
and this time Taka does just start laughing.
You guys catching up?
Yeah,
He sort of turns. It's like hands the reins over to Vanda because Vanda's standing there while Seket's kind of on the ground. Like
Okay.
I meant to do this. This is fine.
Yeah,
Just-
you,
I'm showing you guys
just
how not
rest
to
there
do it.
for a moment. I'll... Come on, horsey.
Come on, horsey.
And after an indeterminate amount of time, you all manage to get the horse moving. Seket dusting herself off. The cart, it's a little bit awkward.
Oh.
Sort of trying to turn
Yep.
it away from the stables and through the main northern gate, the curtain wall of the summer district of Kasqorn. And you see, sort of out north, you've got the Sunreach Mountains out to the left. You got the plains sort of rolling out to the north. You can see the glimmer of the Seven Lords Lake to the right of Kasqorn. And at the very far distance along the horizon, you can see what is known as the Misty Cleft, which is the border between where you are now and the Southern Summer Realms.
Wait,
the
did we
cart
just
begins-
get past the guards?
Yep.
We just got
Yep.
past.
Yep.
Good job, Frey. You did that
The fact-
so well.
The fact that Taka was there also didn't hurt.
Yeah.
And yeah, you exit through the gate and along the hard-packed dirt of the road heading north. Do you guys want a little break before we kick into anything else? Or we've got 40 minutes. Do you want to keep going? Up to you.
Yeah, I'd like to get another coffee.
Coffee.
Yep, take a quick little break
Mhm.
Tiny little break.
as you finally leave the city of Kasqorn for who knows
Hey!
how long this time. Under a whole lot less
Fanfare.
circumstances than you thought.
Fanfare. Celebration.
I don't know. I think there might be a few people celebrating, but
Just
There's
passion,
at least
Ilias.
one.
Okay. BRB.
Yep.
Yeah.
Shkabushki. Thank you again to Victoria's Join for the raid. Appreciated it. And thank you everyone for being here. We're taking a little break. We're only supposed to go for another 40-ish minutes, so it's gonna be a very quick break and then we'll be back.
Very quick break. Yep.
Yeet. Alright. BRB. Oh, wait. For those who are listening, did you know that Discord has soundboard now?
Oh, God.
I love this.
This is us on the open road with our cart.
Nobody knows how to drive. There's a reason I love land vehicles as a proficiency that nobody takes.
Yep. Or animal handling.
Yeah, or animal handling. Nobody takes it. I love it.
Usually, all of my characters take it, but
Take it.
A lot of mine do. But not this
Yeah, I mean,
one.
so far, I think really the only mounted creature you've ridden is the Noyanan, and that thing has its own built-in, you know,
Taming system.
yeah, it has a prehensile fur that can just hold you in place.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
not
Alright.
as slippery as a horseback.
I will be back.
Quack.
Way too much fun with that. Or just the right amount of fun.
We can add our own sounds.
Oh, that's even more dangerous.
Yeah.
Oh my god. My old FC in NA has a sound called Let's Fucking Go.
Did it work?
Previously on.
It's gonna do all of them. Oh, I need to edit it down. Okay. Wait, can I edit it? Oh, I can edit it down. Can I?
Oh yeah, I can do this. I forgot about this.
Previously on.
Okay, look. Are you guys ready? I don't think you're ready. An emoji to it? Okay, we'll put the sparkle tatas. You guys ready? I've uploaded a sound to the disc. Ready? Ready?
Previously on.
I made it for Dinkum. But now every stream we could just say
Previously on.
it's brilliant. I said.
Previously on.
Oh my god. Robert comes back so confused.
It's the right expression.
What?
Did you not know about
What are you doing?
the Discord soundboard?
Where is it?
Okay, look at turn off camera, share your screen, start an activity, open soundboard. It's like above your name and the hang up on the deafen button and stuff. It's also in the if you've got like the cameras all popped out. There's like it's a little music book.
Previously on.
I just added it.
Previously on.
Oh no.
Imagine how much we could get D20 specific noises and Nat 1 specific noise. I mean,
Previously on.
this is the Nat 1 noise, isn't it? Don't you love it, Robert?
Yeah, I do. I very much do.
Oh, I need Discord Nitro. Oh.
Why?
Oh,
Someone has a Valorant one that's just
Oh.
Result.
Okay.
I'm
I think,
so tempted.
Previously on.
I think we're all ready and back,
Yep,
by the way,
we're all
Chief.
good to go. We've got about half an hour, so we're good.
Oh. I did this so many times to my
You-
brothers the other night when I was sick, trying not to shit myself. And I was just quacking all the time. Oh, so
Alright.
good.
So,
Let's get back into it.
Yep. let's say we've got about half an hour. Let's get back into it while Bex
Nice.
kills herself.
Don't make me laugh.
All right. What I'm going to say is, obviously, because you are moving at a slower pace, because you do have people walking and
Because
leading
we're
a
on a
horse.
pilgrimage.
Yep. I'm not going to require you to make any more checks for the cart
Okay.
unless something happens that would require a check. Otherwise, we'll just say, cool, the horse kind of knows what it needs to do and it's going to let you think you're in control. And it follows the road.
Your name can be Wayfinder. I think that's a pretty good name for a horse, you know? Find the way, Wayfinder. May the sun guide you.
The horse sort of looks sideways at the other horse. And you kind of get this whole the other horse that's sort of being led by Vander does the whole nicker thing, and this one just hangs its head.
What was the thing that Taka said? What is the sun?
Let the sun warm you.
Let the sun warm you.
Let the sun
Something
warm
about
your
being
path.
warm and sun.
Oh, that's good. It sounds really good when you say it, Vander.
Everything sounds good when I say it.
Okay. If that's the case, say, seashells on the seashore sold by Sally.
Seashells on the seashore sold by Sally.
Oh, you're not wrong. It does sound good, actually. I'll give you that. Well, guys, we're not in the impressive city anymore. Oh, sorry, no gesturing. And I'm like, and we are on our way again, and we have Surwatha with us. Today is a good day. I do feel the sun shining.
And Surwatha looks like she's fallen asleep. She's actually clambered over back into the cart and actually fallen asleep.
So I gestured to Surwatha and she's gone. Like, oh.
Yeah, for somebody who's been unconscious for so long, the activity just wears her out. So, well, this first week leg between the city of Kasqorn and the Misty Cleft, would somebody like to roll a d20 for me?
Thanks not.
I'll get my little one to roll it, eh?
Yeah.
Oh,
Check rolling here.
Come on,
Check,
DM.
check.
Ready? What are you gonna do? Shake, shake.
Rolling!
15.
We need to
15?
get that as an audio bite for the soundboard.
Yeah, now that he said it though, good luck actually managing to get him to say it.
So cute.
All right. So the morning is very nice, very warm. The excuse me, the wind sort of comes across, and oh my god, I just have something in my throat now.
Sorry, I passed it to you.
Oh no, it's alright. Like that last couple of days, or yesterday anyway. But the horse takes its lead and heads up the northern trade route, and it is several hours into the day before the route leads you to, for some of you, your first experience with what is known as the Misty Cleft. Freya Lise, you've passed through this before. It's a naturally occurring border between the southern summer realms and the rest of the Reach. And it is just a large wall of broom that seems to emanate from somewhere within the foothills of the Sunreach Mountains. It follows along this stretch of rock all the way out to the Bay of Mist, where it spills out down below and actually creates why it's known as the Bay of Mist. It never moves through the wind or the rain. It just consistently creates this border. And this is part of the reason why a place like Fort Falling Embers is being constructed. It's very easy for people who don't know the way to get lost. In fact, as you approach the Misty Cleft, there is a small little shack, like a little one-man little post by the side of the trade route. And a man just kind of casually sort of sitting in a chair, sitting back. It looks like his head's back on the chair as he's kind of just spitting something up into the air and then catching it in his mouth, and then spitting it up into the air and catching it in his mouth. Just obviously very, very bored. And as you approach and get a little closer, you do see that this is an orcish male who seems to have sort of a few burn scars down one side of his jaw. And upon hearing the horse approaching this white shifting border, he does sort of promptly sit up and make himself look like he was at attention the entire time, which he clearly wasn't.
No judgment.
No. As you roll on up, he sort of steps out and sort of
Hey, Frey, this is your cue.
takes a quick assessment of you all before sort of stepping on up and not out onto the trade route, but right up beside it, and gives you a nod and sort of puts his hand out, requesting you to stop. Do you stop?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
pull the cart. Frey's gonna do the talking. I just.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
Ah.
totally a good idea.
So you bring the cart to a stop, and the orc sort of wanders on a little bit closer towards you, and you do see he's got on this split coat across a diagonal, and you do see that one of them has what looks like sort of this goldish color of Kasqorn, and the other one has the orange color of the Summer Realms. He's just a border guard of some kind. And as he sort of wanders on up, he sort of does the quick assess once more, sees you driving the cart and offer it. Because you were in the cart, weren't you, Frey?
Yeah.
It sees you driving the cart and offer it, and it's like, "Hello, welcome to the border. Is this your first time through the cleft?"
It is indeed my first time through the cleft for my pilgrimage.
Right. Well, if it's your first time through, have any of your group been through the cleft before?
Ray's gonna like pop her head out, and she's gonna raise her hand.
Right. So you know about the waymarks then?
Question for the DM: would she know?
Were you paying attention when brought you through here?
That should be a good
It's a good question.
question.
Retroactive
Right.
roll.
It's Frey.
Yeah, that's exactly.
She would not have been paying attention.
But you have such a high passive perception.
Now.
But does
But
that mean you would have
Frey-
understood what you were seeing? I guess.
I think she'd understand what she's seeing, but she'd be like, "Oh, look at this funny thing."
York sort of stands there patiently waiting.
I do know. I suppose I traveled alongside a few people in the past. But a
Do you
refresher,
have a waymarker then? Of
A
your
ref-
own?
a refresher would be a lovely.
Right, okay, you don't
Mr.
have a waymarker, it's fine. And he sort of walks over to his little shack and, reaches down and, you can't see what he's doing, but he's clearly fiddling with something. And he walks out with a small little orange neon crystal. And this is your way guide. You've seen it before? Are you
think-
leading this group? Will you be navigating then?
Frey's going to point at Nofret, being like,
Yep,
this
I
lovely
am,
lady.
so I probably need that.
You're driving the cart. You're gonna need a hand free. Somebody else needs to take the way guide.
I can do it then.
Here you are. And he hands the crystal over. All you need to do is hold it between your hands. Short time. Warm it up. Not yet.
Okay.
Once you step beyond the border,
Yes.
it will create a tether, a light tether, to the other side where there's some more way guides. Follow the light. That's it. Don't lose it, or deviate from the tether. When you get to the other side, you may either pay to keep your way guide if you intend on coming through again, or you may return it. Up to you. Do you understand?
Yes.
No deviations, and do not dally within the mist.
Okay.
Very good. Well, enjoy the other side. I hear the weather's pleasant. More pleasant than over here, anyway.
I'm sure they say the same thing on the other side about your thing.
Maybe, but that's the summer realm. It's always summer there. It's a little bit crisp here at the moment. If Nikos is over there, big ogre lad, tell him he still owes me some gold from the last gambling match we had.
"Oh,
And what was your name?
Stefano.
Stefano.
Stefano, yes. All right, good luck.
Money
Don't
from
get lost.
Are there any creatures we should be looking out for?
Did you just say get lost after giving us the thing to hope that we don't
I said
get lost?
don't get
Oh,
lost.
don't get lost. Okay, sorry, I
Follow
misheard.
the instructions and don't get lost. I'll have like a guilty conscience for all of like 30 seconds.
Those unfortunate 30 seconds.
Look, do you know how many people come through all the time? Most people are really good at following instructions. Those who aren't, I can't feel sorry for all of them. It's their own fucking fault.
What happens if we find random survivors in there?
Guide them out. Or leave them to die. I don't know, it's on your conscience, but preferably guide them out. Nobody really wants to stay stuck in there. It's unlikely, though. Okay. Have a good day. He goes
Thank
back to
you.
his little shack.
May the sun light your path.
Oh, boy.
I can't say that.
Ray's like,
Ray's like quietly gonna say they went
Not
to
enjoying
guide the steps.
Like, no, that one's different.
Come
I
on,
appreciate
Alfred.
that.
Can you get it started again?
And because you are about to go into what looks like a large whirling wall of mist, you are going to need to make an animal handling check.
Oh, so super good.
Yep.
Rollies!
Check, roll!
I'm gonna use my luck crystal.
Okay.
I don't want a nat one, actually.
No, probably not.
Actually,
Also, Vanda, I'm so glad that you took that crystal instead
Oh,
of
thank
Frey,
God.
because my lord.
he's not giving it up.
19. Again.
19?
Instead of a fucking 1, so...
Alright.
No more luck for me today.
So while the horse balks initially at entering this, it's obviously clearly been down this route before. And so after a small amount of persistence from the driver, it does eventually clop into action and heads into the Misty Cleft. And as soon as you cross it, ordinarily you would expect for the temperature to drop. And it doesn't. It's actually the opposite. It's like the mist itself is very warm. It's still a little, yeah, I'm gonna say it, moist, because it's mist.
Warm and moist.
There's a pleasant warmth to it that isn't at all odd or strange or in any way anything that might be associated with those words.
I can't believe I had to write "It's warm and moist" in my book.
Warm and mist. Vander, did you initiate the way guide?
He did, yeah, once he steps in.
Okay, cool. And so after about 30 seconds, as you uncover this sweet, small little crystal stone, sure enough, there is this little line, this little tethering line that is straight ahead. And the ground itself has changed from soil and grass to rock. And when you passed into the mist, all of the sound seemed to die. And the clopping of the hooves on the stone is very loud. It's almost like it's echoing inside of a room. It's a very strange experience. Crossing the Misty Cleft will take a little bit of time. You have decided to take the way guide, which is good. But I will get somebody to roll a d20 for me.
I tell Frey to light a lantern at the back of the cart so that whoever is leading the other horse, which is Seke right now, can at least
No,
follow
it's
the
Vander, I
lantern.
think.
No, Vander's holding a way guide thing now.
Okay, I will try and make this horse do what I want it to.
But yeah, if anything, I pass like a lantern back to Frey to hang at the back of the cart.
Okay.
I rolled a 15 on the d20.
All right, cool. So that's actually pretty good. You've got your way guide. You have had your instructions. You have somebody who's come through before. The DC for getting lost is pretty fucking low. So it is about an hour's of travel through the Misty Cleft, and that weird echoing sound of the hooves on the stone continues. It's just uncanny that you know you are outside, but all you can hear is the echoes. And almost as abruptly as you entered and everything deadened, it disappears again as you finally come out the other side into the Southern Summer Realms. And it's bright midday, it's warm. There is a very, very soothing and warm breeze that is rushing across these southern fields. You can sort of see this tall grass that is in a variety of patches, very vibrant green, and then in other places almost a goldy sort of a color. Further off in the distance, you can sort of see patches that are very clearly farm fields. So you can sort of see the wheat and whatnot growing. And the trade route has sort of this nice little curve slowly out to the west as it heads north. But as you emerge out into the bright sunshine, it is rather warm. You've been warned, warned about it. In summer realms, it's perpetually summer. And, it does seem to be in the throes of a very high temperature. But you do immediately notice a very familiar little shack on the side of the road where there is, in fact, an individual who must have maybe heard you coming or saw the way guide light, because the light is pointing directly to the shack where he's got a little box with his hand resting on it and the light's going straight into the box. But it's not an ogre. It is, in fact, a centaur. He's standing there with his hand on the box and waiting, and as you all sort of emerge from the wall of mist, he immediately locates that you are the one holding the way guide, Vander, and gives you a nod.
Hello.
Hello, welcome to the Summer Realms. How did you find your journey?
It was good.
No trouble?
No, none yet.
Not yet. You're anticipating trouble?
Is it not always better to prepare for trouble?
Alright, that's fair.
Roasted it maids double.
I feel like that should be like a catchphrase or something. I don't know.
Ah, it could be.
I know, right?
Is
Oh.
Stefano not on duty today?
Stefano?
No, Stefano was the one we met.
I
Oh,
mean,
that's right.
Nikos.
Nikos.
Nichols, no. No, he had issue with his partner. So he's decided to take like a few days off, so I'm
When
stepping in. He owed me anyway, he's a terrible gambler.
Oh, well, he owes Stefano as well.
Oh, don't we know it? It's all we ever hear from
Yeah.
Stefano. Hey, this person owes me, this person owes me.
Ah.
Anyway, this is not something you should be getting into. This is an issue between us as people. Hello and welcome to the Southern Summer Realms. I'd ask what your business is here, but honestly, you're dressed in vestments, and honestly, I'm partially hungover, so I don't care.
We
Ask what your destination is.
We first must make our way to the North Watchtower.
The North Watchtower.
Isn't that where
We're
Oh,
on
we're
our
going
way
to
to
Sunhaven.
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 Oh, the capital. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a few
Sunhaven
days
first.
journey. Oh, well, as long as you follow the trade route, you'll go past Fort of Falling Embers, town of Ruavant. You'll cross past, we'll go near Amakenmere. Eventually, you'll sort of come out across the Summer River, and you'll see Sunhaven floating up in the distance from that. But that's a few days' journey. I hope you're prepared for that. Got enough supplies. You can stop at either Fallen Embers or Ruavant to restock if you need to. I recommend doing that. Keep your eyes peeled. We've had bandit issues quite a bit lately. Local garrison rode out a wee while back and took care of some of it, but you can never be too careful. All right, I've given you the talk. Way guide, are you keeping it, or are you
I'm keeping
handing
it.
it back? All right.
Vander, we
That's-
do not need to keep this.
Well, it's 5 gold.
Okay.
I can.
For
do that.
whenever you want to pass through again, you can keep it. Just
Hello.
makes it easier if you know you're going to be traversing from time to time.
I'm querying though, is there actually 3 crystals total? The one at both ends and then the one he carries? Because otherwise we're always just going to end up at this one.
3? If there were 3 crystals, do you really think we'd allow you to keep it? It's far more than 3. The enchanters have made a ton of these.
Are you
Okay.
gonna hand the
But
5
like,
gold?
there's some on each side. That's my understanding, right?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. 5 gold.
Frey's gonna hand it over.
All right.
Hey.
Basically, while everyone's like
Can I
questioning
do an
everything, she's
insight,
just gonna.
insight check to make sure that he's not trying to just cheat us of our money?
What color
Yeah,
is he?
100% he's cheating us
Yeah.
from
What
money.
color horse is he?
What color horse is? Oh,
Hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up.
No. No, Robert. No.
17.
He's gonna send the opposite centaur. That's it's Oh no. Okay, I thought you were gonna send pictures of the opposite centaur that Purdy likes to send me to scar me.
No, no, no. I want you to
No.
tell me what kind of horse he is.
What kind of horse he is? What?
yeah, why not?
That's my Netflix book. What's
I love that you are more interested in what sort of centaur he is, than what his name is. That's been great.
I'll ask his name eventually, but I need to
Mhm.
know if what kind of color he is. Say stop.
17.
Robert,
I'll stop.
please. Oh, he's a Swedish warm blood. Oh, that makes so much sense.
Warm blood. Nice.
He's really tall and he's got a beautiful face. Look at him. I mean, we're more worried about the body.
Well, I mean, it's obviously a human body because that's his face.
Yeah. And then no. He is strong and sound, and he's got strong legs, good bone, and short cannons. He's for riding and competition. He comes in any old color, but I like this kind of warm, like the warm bay.
Let's
Bless you.
I'm dying.
Okay.
So I'm
Well-
sorry, we didn't get your name.
17 insight.
17. No, he's just doing his job. Yep. Apparently, this is just the way it is, rather
Nikos
than
did have a domestic.
having to do it all the time. This is just their way of, hey,
Bless
we
you.
do this. We create a little bit of income for the country. The enchanters stay happy, and it is what it is. It's not even business
That's
to them. It's
weird.
just part of the job. My name Deval.
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 It's a nice strong name.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Well, if you keep following the tree route, you might hit Fort of Falling Embers before nightfall.
Oh, that would be very good. I don't really want to be on the road with potentially bandits.
No.
I would
at night.
advise against it. Yeah.
So
Also, when the sun goes down, we
Ticket
go
looks
down,
disappointed.
I don't know
Yeah.
what this is today.
that all being said, we thank you for doing your job. But we will be off now.
All right. Welcome to the Summer Realms. Enjoy your stay.
May the sun light your path.
And the breeze bring you nice scents, I suppose. Yeah. Okay.
Hi, Aeon.
Uh,
And then we ride off.
and yes, so then you head on north. I assume you guys are going to follow the trade route.
Yep.
Yeah. Our disguises have worked thus far.
Yeah, they have. All right. So I am going to require another D20 roll for this leg of the journey from the border to Fort Falling Embers, because I assume that's where you're going to be heading for the night. Hello, Aeon.
I'll do it.
Okay.
Aeon, did you know about the soundboard?
Oh my God.
19.
Discord?
19. All right. So
Previously on. Sorry.
all right. So, in your travels along the trade route, you do note that there is a lack of people that seem to be heading along such a wide and well-traveled route. Clearly, whatever Duval was talking about occurred at the Fort of Falling Embers with the garrison going after some bandits seems to have maybe slowed things for a short time. Plus, what's going on in the city of Kasqorn won't really be helping any northward travel.
Good.
You do see the sort of
I am a
the
horse
shifting
girl.
long grasses and the wheat in the distance with the fields, and there's also a variety of different colours that seem to the grasses seem to shift through as the wind sort of brushes them back and forth, and you do sort of occasionally get this goldish colour that sort of occasionally seems to get this hint of almost like the orange start shimmering through it as it brushes one way, and then it goes back to gold as it comes another. And then the green almost goes from the green to the gold, and it creates this very shifting sort of, like, the ground itself is very stable. You're on hard-packed earth, but everything around you seems to have this almost sort of shifting, rolling motion as it shifts through the different colors.
Hey,
And-
Goldilocks, are you seeing this as like fields of view?
No response. And it's
No,
a
he
little
does
bit.
not like you more.
It's a little bit
She actually
further.
says it out loud.
It's a little bit further into the evening. You do note that the sun is starting to dip down below the horizon, or towards the horizon, when you do see some amber lights moving through the long grass from the right towards the road, but they're in front of you. But they do seem to be several of them moving at a relative sort of pace. But they're moving sort of as a group. They're a grouping of lights, but they're all moving in a straight line, even though the lights themselves seem to be moving in different directions, zapping back and forth. But they are all sort of steadily moving from the east to the west, not far ahead of where you are, maybe 150 feet. They seem to be moving at a pace.
Are we getting closer, or are they like?
Well, if you're continuing to push forward, then yes, you will be.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. You sort of do get a little closer, and there is this sudden flurry of movement as these orange lights sort of approach sort of the grass at the side of the road. Suddenly, as it all bursts out onto the road, you see what look like these large, almost stag-like creatures. Large horns, but the tips of their horns are crystallized. And they have this orange glow to them. And then you also see that down on their hooves, like their forelegs, their fetlocks, also seem to have this crystalline hue to it. But instead of the orange, they've almost got kind of this blue that every time they take a step, there's kind of like this scattering of color every time they hit the ground. Some of them stop immediately and sort of turn to look towards you, and many of them just keep rushing through to the other side and into the grass and beyond. And eventually, the ones that sort of stop to look at you as you get a little closer, they sort of shake their horns, stamp their feet, and you sort of see the blue light scattering underneath their hooves before they take off again through the grass, traced by the orange light that emanates from their horns. And there is this brief pause before a large, well, those of you who know it, a large Felinor steps out from the grass following behind them with what looks like a long staff over one shoulder, following in the path of these creatures. He sort of turns to see you all, right? Gives you sort of this nod. And he's got sort of like this, the lower half of him, of this great cat, is almost tiger-like. in coloration, and sort of has this moment of pause before he sort of looks at you and then sort of glances over to the creatures that all seem to have slowed now that they're over the other side.
They are beautiful.
They are. And I tend them. Have you seen them before?
It
Oh.
is my first time to the Summer Realms.
You're probably due for some sights then. What you see
Oh, I
are
hope
the
so.
what you see are the Aeronox. And if you don't mind, I would highly suggest not trying to hunt them.
Noted.
They are somewhat endangered. They have a resonance with the land, and some people like to use that to their advantage. But me and some of my tribe have taken it upon ourselves to protect them. So please, if you would, keep your distance. And if you see any shadows moving throughout the night, be careful. Do not attack them. They also seek the Aeronox, but they will not harm you if you do not attack them. The only true prey that can take down the Aeronox without harming themselves.
Shadow?
Doesn't really look like he wants to elaborate much. Sorry.
Okay.
Who have we the pleasure of meeting?
I'm Gilead. Sorry, the Aeronox have developed a defense mechanism against most creatures that hunt them. Their flesh is incredibly toxic to those who try to eat it. The only creature that still hunts them for sustenance is a creature known as the Veyline. They move like shadow, but when they are solid matter, they look like great cats. They have an inherent immunity to the toxins within the Aeronox's body. But they will not attack you if you do not make threatening moves. But if you see them attacking an Aeronox, please, do what you can to protect these endangered creatures. If you don't mind, sorry, they are on the move. Be well. And he just immediately sort of lopes after them into the long grass.
I have liked every fellow we've met, sister. This is a good sign.
And I know we're going to finish, but we'll do one last little thing. We'll get you to your destination if you guys are okay with that, or we can end right now. Okay.
Let's get there.
Yep. Because I assume there's nothing more you guys want to do with any of that. No, cool. So, night has fallen. You guys are moving at a slightly slower pace. So, yeah, the night has come before you will hit your destination. And your destination is very, very apparent quite a while before you get there. As you can sort of see in the distance what looks like a large orange glow, like that of a fire on the horizon. And as you sort of move through this twisting trade route, eventually this glow sort of, it's never incredibly bright, but it is enough to be noticeable, like a beacon in the distance. And eventually sort of it comes into view as sort of the horizon naturally rolls up, and you see what looks like a large orange crystal flame emerging out of the ground. It has a very dim glow to it, not bright, not overbearing, but enough to illuminate the area around it, and again to be like a beacon of welcoming and safety in the night. You can see that stone walls have been crafted around the base and enjoin around this large crystal structure, and the walls themselves have been painted a yellow sort of a color. to almost kind of increase the look of it being a flame rising out from the earth. And more so than that, with nightfall, you can sort of see what look like these small little, almost half yellow, half green lights that kind of just very slowly flicker and move around it in these, almost like this sort of falling pattern before they kind of swirl around the base of this crystal, giving it almost the falling embers look as these fireflies just kind of congregate around this massive crystalline structure. Around the walls, you can sort of see several encampments, including a stables in the distance. And the walls have a large gate which is currently closed, but you can see that there is a fairly large presence of guards around the structure and around the keep. This is Fort Falling Embers, currently under construction to guard the trade route between Kasqorn and Sunhaven. This will be your destination for the evening. But we're going to deal with that next time because it is 7 o'clock for us. But yes, welcome to the Summer Realms, guys.
What a cool welcome.
Yeah.
We did it!
Woo!
Yeah.
We didn't even cause conflict, except for Passionalius about his books.
I didn't
Oh
even
man,
stick out
hey,
his
rifle
mouth.
through a man's belongings.
Alright, I've got to run, guys,
Yes.
but
No
fun as always.
worries. Thank you for being here.
Bye.
Bye-bye! We're gonna, because this is all mucked up now. We're gonna go. We're gonna go to this scene. No, what am I doing? This one. Enjoy our little Chaos Club art, guys.
Hey!
Our custom Perdicious Chaos Club art.
Lovely bird.
I don't know who to raid. Do we raid?
We can do. What have we got?
Could raid. There's no one with D&D on. Everyone's playing earlier because we've changed our time to later.
I've got one person playing
do you?
D&D, but I don't know why. I don't recall them. Down to die, RP.
Down to die.
It's down. It's the number 2.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
Yeah, capital D, a 2, a capital D for die, and then RP capitals as well. I know they're
Starting
playing
in-
D&D. I haven't had a look yet though.
Starting in 12 minutes. Apparently. Oh no, they're starting
really?
now.
No, I got them live. Oh, I think this is one that. Is this one that Aeon took us to once?
Maybe.
Or OM? I think it's one of those two. They're interactive Australian group, so they're either Aeon or OM took us to them, I believe.
Someone's straying.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the only D&D crew I've got live at the moment.
Well, that's a good pick from you. I'm going to down to die RP. Oh. We're gonna start right there for anyone who
Yep.
wants to keep on the D&D buzz.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for coping with me sneezing and coughing and everything. Stay spicy, stay feisty. That's us from the Bexplore channel. I'm so bad at outros now.
Oh, Becca.
Because we're down with the sickness.
I'm down with the sickness. Okay, bye everyone. Bye.
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 Bye.